right, so I guess we'll start out E3 2017. Very interesting as far as the games that been shown and released. So what we're doing today is basically going over the games that we're interested in. It's me, Papa X-Ray, and Grim 4.
So,
So first game that we're going to start out with is State of Decay. We're going to go ahead and hit that trailer, man.
so what do you
What would you
what did you think of the first State of Decay?
I never.
the world you knew?
I played probably like 2 minutes of it, man. I got in there and the game felt clunky, old, and I was like, no, I'm not doing this.
How would you protect
Yeah.
yourself?
I think it really hurt too that it was only a single player game,
Oh,
not
what-
multiplayer.
Can't even see.
Yeah,
So-
it
Have they
Yeah.
announced that this one's going to be multiplayer or not?
I think so. I don't know if they actually just came out and said it, but they a lot of the trailers and stuff made hints to it. But I'm pretty sure that they've kind of learned from their first. I guess I don't want to say a mistake because the game did well. It sold like 550,000 copies.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think it sold something like, I don't know, 150,000 when it went to the Xbox Live store. I mean, it's a really popular game. It's just the one downside was that it was the single player, and they made comments before they were going to patch in multiplayer, and it just never happened.
Wow.
So I think this time, I think they're going to make the right move and make it a multiplayer game because
Well, it seems like the natural progression of things for it to be multiplayer next.
yeah.
I mean, the way this is shown off is like you build your your community as a team.
Right, and it has if it goes back to there was like a permadeath system, and like especially in this trailer, I think the girl here, she gets bit or something,
Yeah.
and the guy chooses to save her, and that was a really big thing in the first game, and if they can like keep everything that they did well in the first one and then just add on to this, especially with because like multiplayer games, especially survival games like this where you're building a base and you're leveling up,
Just outside.
it's so fast with the right people in your group, right?
Oh yeah.
People just like gamers now, they just destroy multiplayer games where you need to go out and get resources and so on and so forth. I think if they can keep like just a little bit ahead of the players as far as content and just moving forward, I think the game will be really good.
Well, I want to point out here though, on this trailer, which kind of excited me, is that you're not building your base from scratch. Like you're not going out there, finding a plot of land and start like building, a house, because people can't do that shit. So what I'm really liking about this is they took hold up in a church and they started to fortify it and do everything else. So like that's the part of the game that has me excited. Maybe because it's more realistic or something, but it just
Right.
it makes more sense to me when it comes to base building and this kind of survival type thing. Because like a normal guy isn't going to go build a freaking house.
Right. I mean, yeah, and that's if this happened, right? You're not gonna go out and start chopping down trees or picking up sticks. You're gonna be like that. Giant structure that's already here.
Yeah.
Looks like a safe bet. And I agree. I like that. I like that move where you start with something that's kind of barren or not barren, but not built and fortified to protect yourself against creatures like this, but it is obviously, it's not a stick house either, I think it also adds more of a visual, dynamic to it too, where, because every one of those survival games, like H1Z1, for instance, like all of those houses that players build, they look almost exactly the same.
Okay. So overall, what do you think? Do you think you're going to wind up picking this game up?
I do. I didn't play a whole lot of the first State of Decay, but I played enough of it for it to make me, I guess, like interested enough to want to continue on, especially now that there is that multiplayer aspect. I don't know with the rest of the games that are coming out this year if I'll pick it up right away.
Yeah,
but it's definitely something I'll play for sure.
I think that's a big point. Like, depending on what its price point is when it comes out, like if it's a full $60 game, I'm probably not gonna play it right away. I'll probably wait. I'll probably wait till there's like a drop in price. But I said, it does look interesting. I just, wondering, how much is it going to cost? Will there be multiplayer? And like, is it going to be fleshed out? And of course, probably waiting for reviews to come out. So,
yeah. I mean, I guess that's like, it's the beautiful thing about like Twitch and stuff now, right? You get to see all that stuff and hear about it actually from other people before you go by. So, yeah, I think if people like, seem to like it, and there's like hardcore fans from the game too. So if those people are liking what they saw from the first game and they've carried over to this game and they are, talking, great things about this one, then yeah, definitely. So.
All right, so that looked like it's a go from Grim4, and it's a maybe for me.
Maybe.
All right, the next game.
You get it, and then let me know how it is.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Okay, the next game we got up is A Way Out.
So
what's your plan?
I tweeted you as soon as I saw this trailer and was like, you and I are playing this cooperatively.
Oh yeah.
It just has to happen.
Yeah. So I don't know, like something about the game like drew me in, like when I started watching the trailer, right? And so I'm like, okay, like this looks really interesting. And then it showed like the co-op split screen, which is something really different today. It's nothing new, but it's different for it to happen today. And I was like, well, that could be jarring at first, but then you get to see the whole story.
Right.
So I don't know. I'm like, this is something I'm definitely gonna play as soon as it comes out, because I need to know how it works.
Right. I didn't even think about it that way. How you said the co-op, like the couch co-op.
Yeah.
Is going to be you'll see both aspects of the story from both points of view. Even if you're not, you're focused on your side, right? But out of the corner of your eye, you're still going to see the other thing that the player is doing. And judging by that trailer, it looks like there are things that the players need to react to either help themselves or help the other player out.
Yeah.
And if you can see kind of what's getting ready to happen, I think that'll take away from, I guess, the gameplay a little bit, as far as maybe like suspense or, guessing what's going to happen next.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, I think it looks awesome. The people, the guys that made, was it The Tale of Two Brothers?
Yeah.
Made that game. And I mean, they know co-op, obviously. That's their kind of their bread and butter. So, I don't know. I'm excited. I think this is also another game that, you said, do you pay $60 for this right out of the gate? Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, but
I don't expect it to be that much. I don't expect it to cost that much, but like I'm willing to say like, hey, whatever it costs, I'm probably going to pick this up the day it comes out. It doesn't look like it's going to be like a very long experience, but it's going to be something kind of like, I don't know if you played like Firewatch or Soma or anything like that, but like those games come out, they have a very, very strong story, and then it's done. And that just, it kind of sticks with you. I think it's going to be another one, another type of game like that.
Okay. I mean, what's your overall opinion about games like that? If the story's good enough, is it justifiable that it's only say 6 to 8 hours? Is
that whole, okay, so like, especially now that I'm older, I have to go to work. Like, I don't have 100+ hours to dump into a game. I don't. And then sometimes, like, you take your Assassin's Creeds that have way too much content in it for the sake of having content, and it doesn't add anything to the game.
Right.
So, a game might be 8-12 hours long, but if it gives me a strong story and it's something that's memorable and it's something that I'm going to think about once I put the sticks down, then it was well worth it.
Right. Yeah, I completely agree with you. It seems like the landscape right now is multiplayer.
Yeah.
And you kind of worry, not to get too far ahead. I figured we'd talk about it more with the Xbox One X reveal. But I was watching an interview with Phil Spencer, the head of Microsoft, or head of Xbox, I guess, not Microsoft. He actually made a comment about like the concern for the landscape of single player driven, story driven single player games kind of getting shoved aside because people want, as a mass, multiplayer or just content, and not necessarily how good that content is. So
Yeah.
we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, I think it looks good. Definitely gonna pick that up.
All right. So next game we have on the list is Metro Exodus. It's so pretty.
Very, very nice.
All right.
So I just now realized this. I thought that was a bear the first time I saw this, right?
It sounds like
Now I'm starting to think it's a badger.
You think it's a
like-
badger?
Yeah, I think it's just a mutated badger. I
think
really
it's
do.
a mutated bear.
You think so?
I think it's still a bear. I mean, I don't know if Russia has badgers. I don't
You have a
know.
point.
I don't know if Russia has badgers, man.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure either. It's either way, the game looks incredible. Like,
It does.
visually.
Like it puts that detail into, like you were saying, like a lot of multiplayer games. So let's use Battlegrounds. PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds as an example. Very good game. Not bashing on it, but it's a multiplayer game, so it has to sacrifice some things for optimization, right? So you
Right.
go into a house and the house is barren. There's nothing really there. But again, in these single player games, they can put detail into spaces that you can't normally get out of a multiplayer game. So this world
Right.
looks lived in. It looks dilapidated. It looks like nature is overgrowing. It looks really, really good. Now, what I am going to say is I do believe that's pre-rendered in engine footage. There's no way, like, that's...
Yeah.
To me, honestly, there's no way that the final game is going to absolutely look like that. But knowing this game franchise, I think is trustworthy.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I mean,
they
last-
made huge strides in the
Yeah.
last. Was it
Last Light.
Yes, Last Light, and then even what was it? 2033 was the one before
Yeah.
that. But each game they've made such like great leaps in progression as far as on a technical standpoint, not just visually, but the actual dynamic of the game. They've done a really good job, and this doesn't look any different. So
Yeah, and leave it to them, right? So leave it to them to have an actual hype train at the end of the trailer. There's a hype train that just scrolls by the screen like, "Hey, go ahead, you all aboard!"
And-
Toot, toot.
And you notice too, right? The hand reaching out, like, "Yeah, come with us. We'll take you to the promised land. This is going to be amazing." Yeah, I think visually it's going to look pretty close to that. My one thing is, and this may have been what you were really hitting on, is the like the dynamic reloads and the random instances where you're fighting monsters and just how it all plays out. But I think it'll definitely be an immediate buy when it comes out. It looks. I've enjoyed the previous ones, and I don't foresee this one being any different.
The only thing, like, and you can't really fault the developers of the game for this. You can fault the publishers. But like when Last Light came out, they had that stupid DLC where it gave you like the Ranger mode difficulty. So they took the difficulty out of the game. They're like, this is the way it's meant to be played. But then they wanted you to pay extra money for it, and then so like hopefully no shenanigans like that happens, and we could actually play the game the way it's meant to be played without dropping extra money on it.
Right. Yeah, I mean it seems kind of silly, right? That they're like, well, this is the way the game was supposed to be.
Yeah.
Pay us more for that.
Exactly.
Experience.
Exactly.
I think consumers and players and everybody, they're getting smarter now. They're not really jumping on that stuff right away. I think it still is like a whole. People pay for this stuff regardless of what happens. And what other like publishers or developers, whoever says, they're like, if they put it out there, we eat it up, right?
Yeah.
Eventually, for that to stop, we need to stop buying it. But at the same time, you also do get like really good experiences and stuff from a lot of that additional content that they charge for.
Yeah. So like, I already said it. Y'all already know I'm buying this day one. I don't care if I stream it or not. It's just I'm
Hype
buying
train?
this. This is the hype train. The hype train was in the freaking video, man. Okay.
So good.
So moving on, man. We got Sea of Thieves coming up next.
So the first time at last year's E3 that they showed this trailer, I'm like, that looks cool. It looks like something you could play with some friends. It definitely looked like an early access game on Steam.
Yeah.
I would pay $20 for. Seeing this trailer, I'm glad they got away from the pre-scripted players like pretending to be in game, and they're like, oh, we're doing this and this, and be careful, blah blah blah. and it's just more of like this goofy, you know, like narrative that this guy is just kind of walking you through, like, oh, this is the part, you know, this can happen here and this can happen here, and
Yeah.
like seeing more of this gameplay, it looks fun. Like I think this is a game that I joked with my fiance. I was like, you know, this is something that I think that we would enjoy to play together.
Yeah.
Not necessarily like, because it doesn't look like a hardcore game, I guess, if you want to put those, you know, that label on it. But it looks fun. I think maybe not right away when it comes out, but I think I'll definitely pick it up at some point and, you know, give it a shot.
So the game to me looks interesting. It really does, but just something about it is not really grabbing me. I don't know. Like,
Is it the art style?
It's not the art style because I've been playing a little bit of Fortnite from Epic. You know, it's under NDA, but the art style is similar to this.
Right.
So it's not that. It's just, I don't know. Maybe I'm not into pirates like that. Assassin's Creed 4 is not my favorite.
And this is the year for pirates.
This is
so.
I don't know. I think I'm just not into pirates like that. But what I will say is that the game looks interesting. Like everything from like gathering treasure underneath the ocean to going to an island and basically going from buried treasure. It all looks pretty interesting.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe I think I just need to see more. But the question for me is, will I be interested in seeing more?
Right. I mean, it's one of those things too. Is this something you can jump into?
Yeah.
And like, will it hold your attention long enough to get to get your worth out of it, or is it something you're going to jump into and, I don't know, play for a day or two, you know, over the course of a day or two, and then go, it was fun, but I'm done. You know, let's move on. I guess that's the big question. You can shoot yourself out of a cannon in this game.
Yeah, I have seen that. I mean,
that's kind of that's neat.
So next game we're going to talk about is Anthem. Now, before I start this video, I need to go ahead and point out that Mass Effect Andromeda sucks, partly due to this game here.
Wait a minute. So you are full on.
I'm just
putting
saying
the blame of Mass Effect.
No. I said partly.
Partly. Okay.
Assets were taken from the Mass Effect Andromeda team to help out.
Okay.
To help out with Anthem. Anthem is the way they want to call it, the Bob Dylan of video games, apparently. So,
right.
I don't know what that means, but yeah. So
the first thing that popped in my head when they opened that curtain was, first of all, holy shit, this looks amazing. And then my brain immediately stopped, and it was like, no. Do you remember The Division?
Yeah.
And I've seen a lot of other people compare this game, and not that it's the same, but you see these awesome visuals, this awesome gameplay coming up, and it's just like a full AAA title, heavy studio, you know, and you just start to think, is this really what the game is, or is this another trick?
So
I can say trick, I think, you know.
Let's ease some concerns, right? So remember when Battlefront trailers came out?
They said they could handle it.
Okay, those Battlefront trailers looked absolutely gorgeous. Battlefront looked absolutely gorgeous. I'm not saying that was a great game, but it looked amazing.
Right.
So then you go talk about Battlefield 4 and Battlefield 1. They're all done. They're all done with that same engine. So this game is going to look close to this. I wouldn't say it's going to look like this because this looks unreal. So,
I mean, do you think this is rendered? I mean,
yes. I don't think anyone's really coming. I don't think anyone that's showing a big game is coming to a trailer without it being rendered. There's just no way.
Right.
You ready to go? You know, I'm not gonna wear my nice clothes and then have a skid mark in my underwear. You know, like I'm just like this isn't. I wouldn't. Me as a developer, I wouldn't risk it. I wouldn't render my footage and bring it in.
Well, and if you think about it, like I said before, when that curtain opens, my very first thought was, holy shit, this game looks amazing.
Yes.
So they did their job. You know, they pulled me in and was like, okay, I definitely need to finish watching this trailer because I want to see where this goes at least. And this right here, and I'm sure we're near the same part where the guy Paul comes down, lands. This looks a little more like obviously like real gameplay. It's not rendered footage like the previous 2 minutes were.
I think you're a couple of seconds ahead of me. So
Okay.
yeah, Paul just landed in.
Okay.
So like, how about the feeling of the gameplay? Because you only can make assumptions at this point. So you
Right.
said Division. I'm seeing a mixture of Division and Destiny.
Yeah.
With this idea of from Destiny, humanity living behind a wall and to protect itself and stuff like that, and then the Division going out, doing missions and stuff from one base of an open world that you're actually in, rather than traveling in space and everything.
Right.
So like, it looks like the third game that you kind of try this shooter looter MMO type feel, and I think they're going to do it right the first time. I might be giving them too high of hopes, but I think they're going to do it right the first time. I think this is going to be the game that people were hoping for with the Division and with Destiny when they first
Right.
released.
And I wonder if that's not a little bit of our own faults. I don't think the Division's a bad game.
No.
I don't think it's a great game by any means, but I like the Division. I played it a lot. Actually, I played it by myself a lot. I think the issue is just overhyping the game. We saw those trailers that they put out and expected something. And I know me personally, I think I expected a little more than what we were being shown. Or
but
maybe
you-
we were being shown more than what we got. I guess.
mean-
It's kind of a hard thing, but I'm trying to like keep my calm.
Yeah,
for this game.
true.
It looks amazing. Like
True.
right now, I'm
Yes.
thinking, I'm like, man, I can't wait till that comes out. I want to play it right now. But
Yes.
I'm trying to hold myself back a little bit and just see what happens. We'll see what happens.
There's some other stuff with this too, as far as concerned. You know what I mean? Like, is it going to be open world? Is it going to be like that whole planet you can explore, and there's different sections that go up in difficulty, or is it kind of like, Destiny, in the fact that you just go to a little section, and you have this to do. You have these certain little things to do within that section.
Right.
I really am hoping. I know how big of a task it is to ask for an open world the way everyone wants it, but
Ask
is
Star
it?
Citizen.
Yeah, right. The game that's in
Never gonna end or
Eternal-
never gonna come out. Yeah.
eternal early access, or whatever you want to call it.
Right. But no, I agree with you. I would rather, and kind of going back to where you're talking about the single player experience and having that world littered with,
Yeah.
objects and different things. I don't need an entire planet to explore,
Yeah, true.
as long as you condense it to the point to where there's things to do in a smaller area. Does that? I mean, am I
So-
wording that right?
I guess what my question
You
to
know-
you would be was how much, like, okay, so a game like Destiny is kind of built around you doing the same activities over and over again to get better loot, which is nothing's wrong
Right.
with that. People love that. So
That
my
is
question,
the MMO,
yes.
archetype.
So how much are you willing to go back and do the same thing over and over again while looking at the same areas over and over again?
So I assume that developers talk to each other, right?
Yeah.
There was an interview with one of the creators of Destiny, and they were actually talking about that. How it was actually kind of like a joke. The spin metal collecting, the tedious task that you're going back to, like, oh, I got to go to Mars now and go get some more spin metal for this stupid gun that I may never even get, and he was very, very blatant about them making the mistake in that aspect of the game.
Yeah.
And they're changing it. Now, this is on the Destiny side, obviously, Destiny 2. But you would think that BioWare had heard the complaints from players saying, like, a little grinding, it's not a big deal. Obviously, it's an MMO. It's going to share that, that archetype that all MMOs have, right?
Yeah.
The issue comes, when is it too tedious, or when is it too much, farming to where it just doesn't become fun anymore. And I'm hoping that as they move into this new genre, which is what you know, it's like a shooter MMO. You
Yeah,
know, there's
yeah.
only been a few that have done it really well, or not real well, but have moved into this space. And I think you're right. I think this may be the one that gets it right. You know, I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
That's the big thing, right?
Again, it's coming out in 2018, so they have plenty of time. Well, not really. They don't have plenty of time, but they have enough time to kind of see and refine it.
Right.
But yeah, it's one I'm going to keep my eye on, because I don't know. Everybody's looking at it. It's the new thing. So hopefully they get it right. Hopefully the servers aren't plagued with problems. Hopefully it looks what they just advertised to us. Because if not, they're never going to live that shit down. Do I think it's going to look like that? Not completely, but I think it's going to be really close.
Now, would you just go ahead and say now that this is probably the most anticipated game that was shown at E3 this year? I mean, besides Bubsy, of course. You know.
I'm saying Cuphead, but after Cuphead,
well, yeah. So like Cuphead, Bubsy,
and then Anthem, and then Anthem.
Okay, yeah,
yeah.
Okay, I can get on board with that.
Oh yeah. All right, so that's so just okay. Off of impressions of what you got from that game, would you walk out to the store? Like, if you had to make a decision right now off that trailer, would you walk out into the store and buy it? Like, if it was on sale right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and like, it's so it hurts me to say, like, yeah, I would go get that based on solely that trailer alone, right?
Yeah.
If I'm like, okay, this is what you're showing me, this is what I'm expecting, of course, without a doubt, I'd go get that game today. But there's this voice in the back of my head that just keeps telling me, just wait, you know,
just wait and see.
Don't get too excited. And I guess that's part of the problem too, is, you know, we love video games, so we get excited about them. We want them to do well, and, you know, we want to get our hands on them because also, especially with multiplayer games, you don't want to get behind you know, everybody else, especially if there's like PvP and everything else involved. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, I would go buy it. But
You're definitely not by yourself, man. Don't worry about it, because I do it too.
Okay,
I would do it too. Don't even worry about it. Okay.
And then we could make fun of it later if we were wrong.
It's like,
right?
hey,
I'd rather take that risk.
Just burnt $60. Like, don't worry about it.
Yeah, that's if it's 60 without the with the super duper deluxe combo mega pack. You know, that's like probably going to be $400, but we'll get to that.
I'll get to the yeah. So